Amid a backdrop of economic uncertainty and political tension, a recent CBS News poll has unveiled a significant shift in American public sentiment regarding President Donald Trump's policies, particularly his focus on tariffs and immigration. As inflation continues to weigh heavily on citizens' minds, many are expressing discontent with the administration's current trajectory, suggesting a need for a recalibration of priorities heading into 2025. The poll reveals that a majority of Americans believe President Trump has placed excessive emphasis on tariffs, which they perceive as a catalyst for rising prices. The current economic landscape, marked by inflation that many attribute to federal policies, has led to growing skepticism about the efficacy of Trump's approach. Just 25% of respondents feel that his policies are making them financially better off, a stark contrast to the 40% who held this view at the beginning of his presidency. Furthermore, even among Republicans, support has waned, with fewer than half now believing his policies are beneficial to their finances. People are more inclined to think that tariffs will raise prices rather than lower them, observes CBS News political analyst Anthony Salvanto. This sentiment resonates strongly with the electorate. Many view economic stability and price moderation as vital issues, far overshadowing the benefits touted by the administration regarding trade tariffs. Notably, tariffs on imported cars have been met with particular disapproval as consumers anticipate immediate price increases. In contrast to the economic frustrations, Trump's immigration policies, especially his deportation efforts, continue to enjoy majority approval, particularly among Republican constituents. This duality in public opinion reflects a complex political landscape where economic concerns take precedence. Yet immigration remains a pivotal issue for many voters. The poll indicates that a significant portion of Trump's base evaluates his performance on immigration as equally important to economic management. As the administration grapples with these challenges, recent controversies surrounding the use of the Signal messaging app by Trump officials to discuss sensitive military information have emerged, drawing bipartisan scrutiny. Calls for an investigation into the matter have intensified, with Republican Senator James Lankford emphasizing the need for clarity about how a reporter gained access to discussions meant for a closed circle. Such incidents, juxtaposed with the administration's focus on tariffs and immigration, highlight an ongoing struggle to maintain public trust amid allegations of impropriety. Amid these developments, the role of Congress has also come under the spotlight. A growing number of Democrats are urging their party to oppose Trump more vigorously, reflecting a broader call for accountability that resonates with many voters. Interestingly, even within Trump's own party, there is a desire for checks and balances, as majorities of Republicans express support for their representatives to push back against the president when they disagree. Overall, the CBS News poll paints a picture of a nation at a crossroads, grappling with the implications of Trump's policies while navigating a turbulent economic landscape. The forthcoming months are likely to see increased pressure on the administration to address the public's concerns about inflation and economic stability, all while maintaining a delicate balance on immigration and national security issues. As the political climate evolves, it remains to be seen how these factors will shape the trajectory of Trump's presidency and influence the upcoming electoral landscape. In a curious blend of artistic expression and political commentary, Michael Moore has issued a call to action for creative individuals across the United States in response to Donald Trump's recent dissatisfaction with his portrait hanging in the Colorado state capitol. Trump's complaint about the painting, which he described as purposefully distorted, has sparked a wave of public engagement, urging citizens to create their own interpretations of the former president. The situation began when Trump took to his social media platform Truth Social to lament the bad picture of himself that has been displayed since 2019 alongside portraits of previous U.S. presidents. The artist also did President Obama, and he looks wonderful, but the one of me is truly the worst, Trump wrote, adding that the artist must have lost her talent as she got older. His comments, however, overlooked the fact that the portrait was commissioned by the Colorado Republican Party, not by the state government, as Trump seemed to imply. This public outcry from Trump coincided with a segment on Tucker Carlson's show where Steve Witkoff, Trump's Middle East envoy, revealed that Russian President Vladimir Putin had gifted him a portrait of Trump, which likely drew the former president's attention back to the issue of his own artistic representation. The juxtaposition of Trump's proud connection with a portrait from Putin and his discontent with the Colorado portrait has sparked a flurry of speculation regarding his self-image and the narrative he wishes to cultivate. In response to this artistic kerfuffle, Moore has revived his Mike's Mission initiative, a platform he previously used to rally public support for various causes. He calls upon artists and non-artists alike to submit their own renditions of Trump, emphasizing the importance of capturing a true and unflinching portrait of the man. Every single one of you has the skill required to depict Trump as he truly appears without distortion, he encouraged, noting the lighthearted nature of this endeavor amidst a politically charged atmosphere. Moore's appeal highlights a broader cultural moment where the simple act of creating art becomes an avenue for political expression and dissent. As he invites Americans to utilize whatever materials they have on hand, from crayons to construction paper, he underscores the idea that art can serve as both a form of personal expression and a means of engaging in the national dialogue. The reactions to Trump's original comments, paired with Moore's artistic challenge, reflect a growing trend in which public figures become the subjects of art as a form of both critique and engagement. As citizens take to their easels and sketchbooks, the portraits they create may serve as a collective commentary on Trump's presidency and the political landscape at large. Looking ahead, the impact of this artistic movement remains to be seen. Will these new portraits be showcased in a public gallery, or perhaps even find their way to the Colorado state capitol as a humorous rebuttal to Trump's complaints? Regardless of the outcome, Moore's call to action is a reminder of the power of art to provoke thought, inspire change, and foster community engagement during turbulent times in American politics. As the nation braces for the implications of the upcoming 2028 elections, this initiative serves as a lighthearted yet poignant reminder that creativity can thrive even amidst discord. As the political landscape continues to evolve, a recent CBS News poll reveals that many Americans are increasingly concerned about economic issues, specifically the rising cost of living, rather than President Trump's ongoing focus on tariffs. This shift in sentiment comes on the heels of a week marked by disappointing economic news, prompting many to question the efficacy of the president's trade policies and their impact on everyday financial stability. The poll indicates that a significant portion of the population perceives Trump's tariff-centric approach as misguided, believing that it contributes to inflated prices rather than alleviating them. While tariffs were a cornerstone of Trump's 2024 campaign strategy, which emphasized economic growth and improved financial conditions for Americans, current feelings among voters suggest a growing skepticism about the administration's ability to deliver on these promises. According to the poll, only 25% of Americans feel that Trump's policies are making them financially better off, while nearly double that number believe their financial situation is deteriorating. In stark contrast to economic concerns, the poll indicates that Trump's immigration policies, particularly his deportation efforts, maintain robust support among his Republican base. Immigration remains a critical issue for many voters, often viewed as equally important as economic factors in evaluating the administration's performance. This duality showcases a complex political environment where Trump's economic policies may be faltering, yet his hardline stance on immigration continues to resonate with a significant demographic. As public opinion fluctuates, the implications of Trump's administrative decisions regarding the federal workforce are also coming under scrutiny. Many Americans worry that reductions in federal jobs will adversely affect programs and services they rely on. This perspective highlights a broader anxiety about government efficacy and the potential fallout from downsizing efforts. Moreover, the controversies surrounding the use of the Signal app by administration officials for discussions on military matters have sparked serious concerns among the public about transparency and security. Although the polling shows that this issue doesn't significantly affect overall evaluations of Trump, it reflects a growing demand for accountability and open communication from government officials. Interestingly, while Trump's approval ratings regarding his handling of inflation and the economy have dipped into negative territory, he still enjoys majority approval for his immigration policies. This inconsistency suggests that while the economic strategy may be faltering, the administration's immigration agenda remains a galvanizing factor for many supporters. As the political landscape continues to shift, Trump's recent remarks about potentially seeking a third term have added another layer of complexity to his presidency. In a recent interview, he mused about methods to circumvent the constitutional limitations on presidential terms, a suggestion that some analysts view as a strategic move to maintain relevance in the political discourse. Looking ahead, the interplay between economic concerns and immigration policy will likely play a pivotal role in shaping the upcoming political narrative. With the 2026 midterm elections on the horizon, how Trump navigates these challenges will be crucial in determining his administration's legacy and his standing within both the Republican Party and the broader electorate. As the impacts of current policies unfold, voters will be closely watching how these factors influence their economic reality and political preferences in the months to come. As the 2025 political landscape unfolds, President Donald Trump faces growing challenges in public perception, particularly concerning economic policy. A recent CBS News poll reveals that many Americans are increasingly critical of Trump's focus on tariffs, suggesting a shift in priorities as they seek relief from rising prices. This sentiment comes amid ongoing concerns about inflation and economic stability, which have become pivotal issues as Trump navigates his second term in office. The poll indicates that a substantial majority of Americans believe Trump has placed too much emphasis on tariffs, which they fear will exacerbate price increases. Only a quarter of respondents feel that Trump's policies are improving their financial situation. A stark contrast to the 40% who felt optimistic about his economic policies just before he took office. This erosion of confidence is notable even among Republicans, where support for the president's economic strategies has dipped significantly from 3/4 to less than half. Voters are clearly telling the president they want him to focus more on lowering prices than on imposing tariffs, said CBS News political director Anthony Salvanto. This shift in public opinion poses a significant challenge for Trump, who campaigned heavily on the notion of boosting the economy and improving financial well-being for Americans. Interestingly, while economic concerns weigh heavily on voters, Trump's approval ratings regarding immigration policies, particularly his deportation efforts, remain high. The poll shows majority support for these initiatives, especially among his Republican base, who view immigration as a critical issue on par with economic performance. This duality reflects a complex political landscape where economic dissatisfaction does not necessarily translate to a loss of support for Trump's more controversial policies. The impact of Trump's tariff strategies is already being felt in various sectors, with a looming 25% tariff on imported vehicles set to take effect soon. Critics argue that such measures will not only raise consumer prices but also lead to greater economic inequality as businesses struggle to cope with increased costs. As one analyst put it, tariffs might serve as a short-term solution to perceived economic imbalances, but they risk long-term damage to consumer trust and financial stability. Despite these challenges, Trump's overall approval rating has remained relatively stable, with a slight decrease over the past month. His handling of inflation, however, is viewed negatively, with many Americans attributing blame for rising costs to his administration. Even among Republicans, there is a growing acknowledgement of the need for a more balanced approach to economic policy. Further complicating matters are the ongoing discussions surrounding the federal workforce reductions initiated by the Trump administration. Public opinion is divided on the effectiveness and necessity of these cuts, with many citizens expressing concern over potential impacts on essential programs and services. The political narrative is further shaped by the administration's use of messaging platforms like Signal for discussing sensitive military plans, which the public views as a serious issue, albeit one that has not significantly affected Trump's core support among Republicans. As Democrats begin to rally for more robust opposition to Trump's policies in Congress, It remains to be seen how this will play out in the coming months. With a growing number of Americans expressing skepticism about Trump's economic stewardship, the president may need to recalibrate his focus to address the pressing concerns of rising prices and inflation if he hopes to maintain his political capital. The evolving dynamics of voter sentiment highlight the importance of adapting political strategies to align with public expectations. As the 2025 election cycle approaches, how Trump responds to these challenges could very well determine not only his approval ratings but also the broader economic landscape in America. The road ahead is fraught with uncertainty, but one thing is clear: the electorate is paying close attention to how effectively leaders manage the economy in these turbulent times. In a striking interview on NBC News, President Donald Trump hinted at the prospect of seeking a third term in office. A notion that raises eyebrows given the constitutional constraints imposed by the 22nd Amendment. During a candid conversation with Kristen Welker, Trump asserted that there are methods through which he could pursue another presidency, adding, "I'm not joking." This remark has sparked a flurry of speculation regarding his intentions and the potential implications for American politics. Trump's comments come in the context of a tumultuous political landscape characterized by his contentious policies and ongoing geopolitical tensions. The president did not shy away from expressing his frustration with various international leaders, notably Russian President Vladimir Putin, whom he criticized for failing to broker a ceasefire in Ukraine. He expressed being pissed off at Putin's recent remarks questioning the legitimacy of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's government, comments Trump deemed unhelpful. Furthermore, Trump has reiterated his resolve to impose permanent tariffs on imported vehicles, claiming he couldn't care less if these tariffs lead to price hikes for American consumers. This steadfast stance reflects his administration's broader economic strategy aimed at bolstering domestic manufacturing at the expense of foreign competition. Industry analysts warn, however, that such tariffs could significantly impact working-class car buyers, a group that forms a crucial part of Trump's political base. As the administration gears up for what Trump has dubbed Liberation Day, where reciprocal tariffs are to be imposed on U.S. trading partners, doubts remain about the coherence of the president's economic policies. White House National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett admitted during a Fox News interview that he had no foresight into the impending tariff plans, raising questions about the administration's internal communication and strategy. In the realm of foreign policy, Trump's administration is not without its controversies. The Vice President, J.D. Vance, faced backlash for his comments regarding the U.S.'s interest in Greenland, a semi-autonomous territory of Denmark. While Vance suggested military action might not be necessary, Trump asserted that military force is never off the table. This stance was met with a firm rebuttal from Denmark's Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen, who stated unequivocally that Greenland will not be obtained by the U.S. The geopolitical tensions extend beyond Europe, with Trump threatening to bomb Iran if a new nuclear deal is not reached. This aggressive posture raises concerns about the potential for escalating conflicts in an already volatile region. Observers note that Trump's approach to international relations is characterized by a blend of bluster and unpredictability, a strategy that has elicited both support and apprehension from various stakeholders. Amidst these developments, Trump's administration continues to navigate domestic challenges, including a fractured Democratic Party grappling with its brand and strategy in the wake of electoral defeats. As the political landscape evolves, the implications of Trump's potential third-term ambitions may reshape not only his party's future but also the broader trajectory of U.S. governance. Looking ahead, the coming weeks will be pivotal. As Trump prepares to unveil his tariff strategy on Liberation Day, the economic ramifications will be closely scrutinized, particularly concerning their impact on American consumers. Furthermore, the international community will be watching how the U.S. navigates its complex relationships with allies and adversaries alike. The interplay between Trump's ambitious domestic policies and his volatile foreign relations will likely define the narrative as his administration continues to unfold. In a rapidly evolving global political landscape, the influence of former President Donald Trump continues to resonate far beyond American borders. inspiring a wave of authoritarianism among leaders worldwide. Recent analyses suggest that Trump's approach to diplomacy has emboldened those who seek to undermine democratic principles, as evidenced by his recent praise for leaders like Turkey's Recep Tayyip Erdogan amidst civil unrest in Istanbul. In March 2025, just months into his new administration, Trump notably reversed the traditional U.S. stance on international democratic governance. During a meeting with U.S. ambassadors, he characterized Erdogan as a good leader, disregarding the widespread protests following Erdogan's arrest of Istanbul's mayor, a key political rival. This shift marks a stark departure from the Biden administration's strategy, which prioritized democratic values and condemned authoritarian actions. "There's a great emboldening," remarked Rosa Balfour of the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, highlighting the lack of repercussions for blatant assaults on democratic norms. The implications of Trump's rhetoric extend beyond Turkey. In Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has felt empowered to push through judicial reforms that many view as attempts to undermine the independence of the judiciary, actions that previously faced U.S. pushback under Biden. Now, with Trump back in power, Netanyahu's government has approved measures that increase parliamentary control over judicial appointments, a move celebrated by Trump allies as a fight against the so-called deep state. In Serbia, President Aleksandar Vučić has utilized Trump's embrace of autocratic leaders as justification for his own crackdowns on dissent. Following the dismantling of the U.S. Agency for International Development, Vučić ordered police raids on NGOs claiming they were corrupt, echoing sentiments from Trump's inner circle. This pattern of behavior illustrates a broader trend where aspiring authoritarian leaders leverage Trump's policies and public statements to fortify their own positions against democratic opposition. Trump's influence is not limited to Europe and the Middle East. In Canada, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith's recent strategy of engaging with Trump-friendly media and seeking favorable trade relations has sparked controversy. While she aims to soften the impact of potential tariffs on Canadian exports, her approach has drawn criticism from both political opponents and constituents who question her loyalty to Canadian sovereignty. Critics have accused her of tacitly inviting U.S. interference in Canadian elections, a charge she vehemently denies. Meanwhile, Trump's fixation on Greenland has resurfaced, with the president suggesting military intervention remains a possibility if necessary. His comments follow a period of heightened diplomatic tensions between the U.S. and Denmark, underscoring the strategic importance he places on the mineral-rich territory as a national security priority. The broader implications of Trump's return to power are clear: a global environment where democratic backsliding is not only tolerated but seemingly encouraged by the leader of the free world. As political analysts and commentators observe these developments, many are left to ponder the long-term consequences for international diplomacy and the defense of democratic ideals. As Trump continues to assert his influence both at home and abroad, the world watches closely. The question remains whether this emboldening of authoritarianism will lead to a backlash in democratic societies, or if it will pave the way for a new normal, where leaders disregard democratic principles with little fear of consequence. The coming months will be critical in determining how these dynamics will unfold on the global stage.